In this video, just like last time, we'll continue talking about identity shifting. You might notice that some things are repeated, and that's completely normal. Repetition is necessary if you want to create change, because that's how you break the old patterns in your life. So let's build on what we covered in the previous video. Pay close attention to what I say and make sure to take time to practice. The hidden traps of identity shifting. Changing identity sounds appealing. The idea that you can move from who you are today to your ideal self is powerful and liberating. Yet, between theory and practice, there's a gap. Many people discover identity shifting, get excited, apply a few tips, and then quit. Why? Because they fall into invisible traps that slow down or sabotage their transformation. In this chapter, we'll explore three main traps in depth: cognitive dissonance, imposter syndrome, and loyalty to the old identity. Then we'll look at concrete strategies to overcome them. Cognitive dissonance, the draining inner conflict. Cognitive dissonance is a concept developed by psychologist Leon Festinger in 1957. It describes the inner tension that arises when our actions, beliefs, and identity are not aligned. A concrete example: you decide to become a disciplined person. You wake up early for 3 days, but on the fourth day, you stay in bed. In that moment, two realities collide. Your old identity, I'm lazy. Your new identity, I'm disciplined. Result: discomfort, guilt, doubt. This inner conflict is normal and even inevitable when changing identity. But if you're not prepared to face it, you may conclude, this isn't for me. I'm not capable, and give up. So, how to move past this trap? Accept dissonance as a sign of progress. If you feel it, it means you're stepping out of your old identity. So close the gap gradually. Instead of trying to embody 100% of your new identity in one day, advance in small steps. Use daily proof. Every small action is evidence that the new identity is taking root. Celebrate every win. Imposter syndrome. This isn't really me. Many people who start acting according to their new identity feel fake or illegitimate. That's imposter syndrome. The impression you're fooling others, don't deserve your success, or are wearing a mask. Concrete example: you want to become an entrepreneur. You launch your first project, talk about your business, but deep down, you tell yourself, I'm not a real entrepreneur. I'm just playing a role. This feeling is destructive because it undermines confidence. Many people stop the transformation at this stage. So, how to move past this trap? Redefine imposter. You're not an imposter, you're learning. Every new identity requires an adjustment period. Remember, everyone starts somewhere. The greatest leaders, artists, and athletes all felt this at the beginning. Practice consistency. The more you act in line with your new identity, the more your brain accepts it as normal. Loyalty to the old identity. Fear of betraying your past. One of the subtlest traps is unconscious loyalty to your old identity. Sometimes we stay stuck, not because we can't change, but because we don't want to abandon the person we used to be. Concrete examples: you've always been the funny one in your group. If you become serious and ambitious, you fear your friends won't accept you. You come from a modest family. If you become financially successful, you're afraid of betraying your roots. This invincible loyalties acts as a powerful brake. We'd rather remain in an uncomfortable but familiar identity than risk rejection or guilt. How to move past this trap? Honor your old identity. Instead of denying it, recognize how it protected or helped you up to now. Understand that change isn't betrayal. You're not renouncing your past, you're building your future. Communicate your evolution. Sometimes explaining to loved ones why you're changing ease tensions. Other common traps. Beyond the three big obstacles, there are other frequent traps: rushing, wanting to change everything in a month; comparison, judging yourselves against those who have already succeeded; perfectionism, believing you must embody the new identity perfectly from the start. These traps create unnecessary discouragement. Overall strategies to overcome the traps. To get past these barriers, use a three-part approach. Patience, remember that changing identity is a process, not an event. Compassion, be gentle with yourself when you relapse. Persistence, keep going despite doubts. Consistency wins in the end. Conclusion, the traps of identity shifting are not signs of failure, but normal stages of the process. Cognitive dissonance shows you're evolving. Imposter syndrome signals you're leaving your comfort zone. Loyalty to the old identity reveals your attachment to your story. By learning to recognize and move beyond these traps, you greatly increase your chance of a successful transformation. Identity change is not a straight line, but a path with obstacles that forge your inner strength. The phases of identity change. Many people imagine identity change as a sudden breakthrough. You decide one day to change, and the next, everything is different. In reality, it's a process made of several phases, a psychological and emotional cycles that requires time and energy. Understanding these phases is essential to avoid giving up along the way. In this chapter, we will explore in depth the four main phases of identity shifting: awareness, transitions, resistance, and integration. We will also look at practical exercises to identify where you are in the cycle and how to move forward with confidence. Phase one, awareness. This is the starting point of any transformation. The person realizes their current identity no longer matches their aspiration or potential. This awareness may come from persistence dissatisfaction. I can't keep living like this. A triggering event, breakup, job loss, health issue. External inspiration, a book, a meeting, a mentor, a video. Typical feelings, frustration, a mix of excitement and fear, a sense of being called to something greater. Possible trap, staying stuck in the dream phase, imagining the change but never acting on it. Practical exercise, write a list of 5 things your current identity prevents you from experiencing. Then write 5 things you could achieve if you shifted identity. Phase two, the transition. This is the period when you begin acting like the new identity, but the old one is still very present. You live between two worlds, the old and the new self. Concrete examples. Someone who wants to become athletic starts running twice a week, but still defines himself as not really sporty. Another example, an employee who wants to become an entrepreneur launches a side project while keeping their current job. Here's the typical feelings: excitement at the beginning, frequent doubts, the sensation of being two people at once. A possible trap, wanting to move too quickly, then getting discouraged as soon as you slip back into the old identity. Practical exercise, keep a transition journal. Each day, note one moment when you acted as your new identity and one when you reverted to the old. This allows you to measure progress instead of only noticing setbacks. Phase 3, resistance. This is the most difficult phase. The brain and the environment try to pull you back into your old identity. Why? Because the human mind craves safety, even if it's uncomfortable. Signs of resistance, intrusive thoughts, this isn't you, you'll never make it, self sabotage, falling back into old habits, social pressure, friends, family, or colleagues saying, you've changed, this ain't who you are, typical feelings, emotional fatigue, temptation to quit, a sense of being an imposter. Possible trap, mistaking resistance for failure. Many quit here, believing difficulty means they're not cut out for it. Practical exercise, write a letter from your future self as if they were speaking to you from a year ahead. Describe what they would say to encourage you to persist despite resistance. Reread it during moments of doubt. Phase 4, integration. This is the stage where the new identity becomes natural. Habits that once felt difficult are now automatic. Old beliefs lose their hold. Concrete examples: the person who wants to be athletics no longer force themselves to run. It's simply part of who they are. The former employee turned entrepreneur no longer define themselves as a worker. They think, act, and perceive themselves as a business owner. Typical feelings: serenity, strengthened confidence, pride in seeing the journey completed. The possible traps: resting on your laurels. The integrated identity must continue to be nourished by conscious actions and choices. Practical exercise: establish an identity maintenance ritual. Example: weekly review of achievements, daily affirmations, aligning your environment. Recognizing your current phase. Many ask, how do I know where I am in the cycle? Here's a simple guide. Awareness: you feel frustration or an inner call. Transition: you oscillate between old and new habits. Resistance: you struggle, doubt, and consider quitting. Integration: you act naturally according to your new identity. Recognizing your phase is essential because it helps you understand your struggles are not personal failures, but normal part of the process. The cycle is continuous. A common mistake is believing identity change is permanent. In reality, we go through this cycle multiple times in life. Every new stage, a career change, a new relationship, a new challenge, demands a new identity shifting. Thus, identity is not a final destination, but a permanent path of evolution. In conclusion, identity change is a journey through four phases. Awareness: you realize you must change. Transition: you begin to embody your new self. Resistance: you face doubts and obstacles. Integration: you naturally become the new person. Understanding these phases helps you avoid giving up too soon and embrace each stage as a normal part of the process. You don't lose when you feel resistance, you are evolving. Identity shifting is therefore a cycle. With each transformation, you start again. And with each cycle, you grow stronger, freer, and closer to your full potential.